This has proven to be a bit of an annoyance lately. What happened is the battery only lasted about a week before it carked it, which isn't very helpful. So I'll just take it out of its little bag of goodies. Now this time what I have is a, well, Duracell battery, and I went and picked one of these up as well, which I'm hoping, when I can get some screws for it, to be able to simply slot it in there and rewire it, but that'll be in time. I also have one of these switches. Now my thought process was, jam this in here to this little hole, and I can have myself a rocker switch to turn it on and off, but it's a little big. To resolve that, I have a file kit. However, I won't be doing this today. This will be either something I do by myself later on, or I'll do a video on it. Just, honestly, it all depends. And I just realized I forgot something. Okay, I'm back. I have 4 of these leads. Now, when I think of battery, I think of a single cell like this, not a 9 volt which has stuff you can hook a clip onto, like these. So before I get started, I should probably take this cage off. Alright, so now that's apart. Just ensure that LCD is fine. What I can do is, fingers crossed I don't screw this up, because if I do, it'll go bye-bye. First off, we just check to see if it works. And we go great, and disconnect. Now, the second thing is, I probably screwed up significantly with what I've got here. Okay. Okay, I'm ready to measure milliamps. So if I switch it to milliamps and I go positive, which is the positive side of this battery? It's the small side. And then we go negative, and we can hook this up to the opposite one, which would be this large. And then we can go from the negative side the negative, okay, so that's 13 milliamps. Let's see what happens when it turns itself off. Now, this is without an actual part, and there doesn't appear to be any draw. That's going to be capacitance. So this is interesting. I thought the battery had died. I thought this had been draining the power from it. But it looks like it wasn't. Because it's on, it's drawing its current. And then when it turns itself off, it drops to 0. Huh. Okay. So this cell must have been dodgy then. Now if I take this off, put it back on again. Yes. Huh. So if I remember correctly, we should be able to go to volts DC. And of course I'm not going to get anything, I'm in the wrong hole. Volts DC. Less than, no, we got 1 volt. Yep, so that battery is definitely discharged. It's also a cheap cell. So that's going to have to get thrown out. Well, okay then, obviously what I thought was wrong wasn't wrong. Meaning I don't need to put the switch in, and the time I wasted was completely unnecessary. Well, that's great. See, I went off and I ordered a few things, which turns out I really didn't need to, and that's wasted time, and it's also wasted a little bit of money, which is a huge downside. However, I do have an idea for another mod that I'd like to do, and that would be controlling the screen brightness. That's most likely not going to be a waste of time and money because, well, how bright that screen is, oof, it is bright. It's also way brighter than what it needs to be. So the mod is going to require a small resistor and this 10k pot. So this, what I'll have to do is disconnect here and pop in a resistor to just simply drop the voltage down. That's all I need to do. And that will hopefully prevent this screen from being so bright. I will also still look at installing this because it can sit comfortably here, like so. And then all I need to do is just put the, I can cut these wires off and simply solder them on as needed. But for the meantime, I have to wait till I can get some screws. And my idea with this, it should be big enough to simply fits under here. Like so, I should just be able to jam it in, and hopefully then I'll have a brightness control. Or I could just simply put a set resistor in there and not have control over. Yeah. Let's see if I can reassemble this thing. So no. Yes. Also, I should probably talk about a waste of money. I still haven't actually used this for any major projects yet, or anything in particular. I've just gone off and shown it off, so that's Probably a bit of a waste thus far. Now I need to be very careful when reassembling this because I don't want to do it in the wrong way. And that looks fine. Also, to stop the device from scratching anything up, I've put the head on the bottom instead of sitting it on the top. Now when I say I left it for a week, I mean this thing was sitting on my bench for a week, wasn't getting touched, wasn't getting turned on, and the battery just drained. So my guess is that it must have just ran its course. Well, now. There we go. In fact, I think I might still actually put that switch in. It would be a fun little project. I mean, really any kind of mod to these would be, well, for the most part pointless. I would like to make my own. I do have most of the parts that are necessary for it. It's more just actually assembling and picking the right firmware. And making sure you do pick the right firmware, not put the wrong firmware on there and then find that nothing works. Or at least the screen doesn't work. Whoops. There. Alright, so that button's in a nice position. Put that in there. Close her up. So, turns out this video was a bit pointless. Oh well, maybe next time I'll be able to do the 18650s. Anyway, yibbity yibbita.